to the lovers of occult. I'm Thea. In this episode, we will explain divination. When we go to non-organics and learn to bend time and go to the past or the future, we travel in time in this physical world and meet beings that are independent of time. For example, Johns and human has learned divination from them. There are many historical examples, such as the Gypsies, who sacrificed their place in exchange for learning divination. They never had a fixed living position. We have to understand what supernatural powers were for which generations and how they got them. Many people now claim to be able to see the future with all kinds of methods like tarot, coffee, or astrology, and etc. Whereas divination is the fifth step of magic, it is not a simple matter at all. It is not like everyone can do divination. There is a structure. Tarot is old magic. It's gypsy magic, and the gypsies made a big sacrifice to have the tarot. They sacrificed the place and offered the land. Anyone who picks up a tarot deck and draws cards does not mean they are getting tarot. Divination takes much energy. This energy supply is only possible in these ways, from humans and crystals, which is the primary method, and energy supply from non-organics, and also austerity. I have explained a lot about the case of crystals and the subject of grids and dynamic and static methods. Supplying energy from humans is possible too. You receive this energy from master or a psychic person, and I give this energy to my students. When I do Reiki or provide them with a keynote or a sigil, I transfer this energy to them. And when my students reach the master level, I teach them how to permit another person. Which permission? Permission to create. Creating magic. Another way to supply energy is to appeal to demons, angels, and gods. Because their currency is energy, they can do this for us easily. And the last way is austerity. Creating energy through austerity and suffering in mysticism and religious schools is common. It does not matter if a person is a Satan worshipper or a God worshipper. When you offer your energy to a being, you behave according to his specified discipline. Whether in Islam, Christianity, for example, Satanism orders us to wear dead soil. The methods are different. All these schools and religions are in the primary classes of occult, and the followers of these schools worship inferior beings that there are much more robust and effective than them in the universe. There is no need to submit and be a slave. Man can respectably sit among these creatures and not bow his head in front of them. The godly gene in man forces him to be enslaved. The few people who have escaped this gene are psychics. Even alphas bow before this gene. The next class of magical talents is Decencium. It is traveling in space and other worlds. Psychedelic world, dream realm, worlds that, when you see its creatures and parameters, you face that they are so far from the relations of the physical world. So your definition of everything needs to be clarified. The brain has characteristics. For example, it understands distance, and through the air, it can understand the coordinates of the source of a sound source. However, when you go to other dimensions, you lose all of this. We understand how small we are compared to the greatness of existence. When we know other creatures and their powers, we understand how small and useless the creatures worshipped in this world are, what they can do for humanity, and why they do not do anything. The last issue is immortality. Superhumans become immortal at specific points in time and space, even though they live in the fourth dimension. That they can come to the third dimension, do things and leave. We teach about the supernatural, other beings, and other dimensions, but it is worthless unless you go and see for yourself. The difference is that man thinks he is superior, knows and understands a lot, until he faces reality and realizes that he knew nothing and was nothing. A person in the early stages of Beyond feels excellent just by communicating with a demon or seeing a few honest dreams. But when he travels to other worlds, he realizes that it is nothing. He finds out what is happening on a larger scale. If you want to see more content in this field, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you are satisfied with this video, like it.